Hello, welcome to the Scale Model Club, and on this week's show, Husqvarna, or however you say it, Sea Harrier FRS Mark 1 172 scale. Okay, here we have Hasegawas, or however you spell it, Hobby Kits, is Sea Harrier FRS Mark 1. So this side of the box we've got Sea Harrier FRS Mark 1 and lots of Japanese. Exactly the same on the two ends, nothing on the back. Let's get into it. Never done a Hasegawas kit or a hobby kit before, but this is ever so cheap for what it is. 172 scale Sea Harrier, and it was under a tenner. So let's have a quick look at the instructions. The instructions are a little bit on the small side, I suppose, but it's nicely coloured. Shows you what paint schemes, what decals. So as you open it out, I'm not a fan of these. I like them as a book, but this opens right out. Everything's clearly marked. Everything tells you where it all needs to go. It's a slightly different way of building a Harrier, as I noticed, since you seem to build the cockpit first and then glue that onto the fuselage. But let's give it a go, see how it all goes. Wings, wheels, looks like a nice kit. Quite look forward to building it. It's one of my favourite aircraft. And it's one of the first models I ever built. So bit of a story to this one. I'll tell you a bit later on. So that's the instructions, all nice and clear. See what I mean? See, it opens out as a... I don't like it. I prefer it to be a book, but it's not the end of the world. And it's all clearly marked, all tells you where all the stickers go and everything. So all good on the instructions. It is only 170 Sega scale, so it's not going to be masses of parts. Let's get into it and see what you get in the bags. You get one bag. And within that bag, we get sprues. On this sprue, we've got the fuselage and the wings. All nicely moulded, no flash, or not that I can see. Recessed panel lines, they're quite small, so I know a lot of people complain about the panel lines on Airfix being a little bit out of scale. I don't really notice it, but they're nicely moulded, lots of detail on the fuselage and the wings, that is. So yeah, good stuff. So next in the bag we have another sprue. So we've got 3 sprues altogether. This sprue's obviously got the nose cone. Well, this is the sister sprue to the other one. So you've got the other half of the fuselage, engine, fan, and wings, and tail planes, and the movable jets on the side. I bet they've got a really complicated name, but the 2 bits at the bottom there, or top there now, are the 500-pound bombs. And this sprue has more armaments, as you can see, and the nose cone. So we've got, I don't know, it does actually tell you what all the weapons are. There's some air-to-air missiles, there's some English air-to-sea missiles, Seahawk is it? Fuel tanks, 500-pound bombs, and the 2 machine guns that go underneath. But again, nicely moulded, nicely numbered, no flash. Really nice kit so far. Let's have a quick look at the decals. So within the decal sheet we also get the clear glass plates. This is a nice little piece, although admittedly it's all in Japanese, but it's I suppose if you can read it, it is all the safety, health and safety and tips on how to build a model. So the clear parts look nice, nicely moulded, no flash, no real problems with them whatsoever. Also has a clear gun sight, so that's nice. And decals. Obviously there's lots of different versions, which is quite nice in the same box. Lots of different types of squadrons. Nicely printed. They look fine to me, so we'll have to try and give them a go. So like I said, we've got lots and lots of different types. I think this is the one we're going to be doing because I remember building one with the glove on the tail pane when I was younger, and I quite like that. So moving on, let's get building. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Make sure you push the notification bell. Now, I've got these. Long story short, this is the Hagegawas Falklands paint set. Volume 1, is it? Or was it Volume 2? I can't remember. I think it's Volume 1. Anyway, it's lots of different colour schemes for Harriers, Canberras, general Falklands paint schemes. Never tried these paints before. They come in lots of different lines and they're different colours. This is the red line, which is specifically made and mixed for airbrushes. Basically speaking, I was on Instagram. I posted something on Instagram, and Hagegawas group liked my stuff, so I thought, well, do you know what? I'll give your paints a go. So it's not a review as such, just I got hold of them and thought we'd try them out. So that's what we're doing this week. So first off, we use our little side colours. Trim out the parts from the sprue. Leave a little bit on the. Get them as close to the part as you can. Makes it nice and clean. So we've put the seat into the cockpit, and now I'm going to paint the whole thing light sea grey. Just going to use the Hagegawas stuff for my airbrush, which will be on the full paint, which will be the next video along. So what I thought I'd do is I'll give this a nice light sea grey all over the seat. We'll paint the cushions, if they're called cushions, in a nice olive colour, olive drab. Give the whole thing a little bit of a dry brush so you can see the picks out the edges. But the cockpit is I don't know, I would say a little bit lacking in detail. It's not as nice as other cockpits. You can probably buy an aftermarket cockpit or bits, but to be fair, for the rest of the model it is perfectly fine. I was happier with it. No flash, no mucking about. It's a seat. You don't see much of the cockpit in a Harrier, so I wasn't too bothered on making bits look a lot nicer. I do all this kind of stuff by hand. You could quite happily do it by airbrush. I do it by hand because I'm lazy. I can't be bothered to get all my airbrush stuff out just for a seat. Right, so that's the seat painted. Let that dry. Now, decals. So the seat's nice and dry. Just above the paint there, in the little pot, that's warm water. I generally boil the kettle, stop it halfway through, fill up my little dish, and it's just water. There's nothing else in there. Cut the decal from the sheet as close as you can to the decal. Leave a little bit so you can get your tweezers on it. Dip it in the water. Give it 10-15 seconds. Pick it up with your tweezers. As you can see there, slide it off and slide it onto the model in the place that you need it. After you've got it on, yes, some mark fit strong. That will help you get it just in the right place, and it will loosen it and sink it down to all the little crevices. This is the cockpit display. His dashboard. You think after all these years of building models, I'd know what half of this stuff is called, wouldn't you? So that's painted light sea grey, and the gun pond is painted black. And I'll just slide the decal on. Oh, so that's the cockpit done. Decals fitted. Just going to cut out the fuselage. I painted the inside of that light sea grey, same as the seat. But like I said, once you put the seat in there and you put the two halves together, you can hardly see it. There's his joystick. That's light sea grey with a black tip. So I had to quickly work out. Always good to fit stuff together before you glue it, so you know how it goes. I always say that, and then I forget at some stage, and then it won't all fit together. But let's clean up the parts. Take off all the little spurs with your hobby knife. We'll get ready to stick the cockpit together. Seat goes in, and then your joystick, then together. So that's that bit. Put that glue together one side, and we'll start on the fuselage. In between that, I also painted, as you can see there in the bottom right hand corner, I painted the fan in dark iron from Tamiya, and then dry brushed it with some silver so it picks out the fan blades. I do it out of habit. I genuinely don't think you're actually going to see it. But so once I've got them two cut out, I'll have a quick check of the phone because somebody's bound to have messaged me in the time being. Then thought to myself, oh, hang on a second, I'm on camera. Right, so the fuselages. Cleaned them up with my hobby knife. Now I'm going to use Tamiya's extra thin cement to glue the two together. I always use the extra thin. I bought the extra quick drying stuff, haven't really used it, so I haven't no idea what it's like to actually say. The only thing I will say is now the fuselage, although the tail went together, look at the state of the front, it's all over the place. I really had to muck about with this to get it nice. And I must admit, once I got it like that, is how I wanted it. The bottom didn't sit right, the top didn't sit right. So I got it as close as I could, and I then sanded it all so that it was nice and flat. Filled the inside with some glue so it runs down the crack. But I do like the way the model has been designed to be built. It's just a shame those two bits don't fit together. It's not a bad. It's not that bad, to be honest. It's not like a kit breaker. I'd quite happily build it again, and I'd also recommend it for beginner modelists. Few parts. It's easy to follow and easy to glue together. And obviously, once you've got those two glued together, the duction fan just slides in there after you've obviously waited for it to all clear. Wings. So do exactly the same as everything else. Cut out the top half and the bottom half. Clean them all up with your hobby knife. Glue them onto the fuselage. This is a good thing. I wasn't paying attention whatsoever to any of the numbers and managed to pick up a left hand and a right hand. Nope, they're not going to go together, so we'll have to cut the other one off. Always look at the instructions, folks. So yeah, a bit of a clean up. Make sure They clean these bits up because it makes sure that it actually fits nicely into the fuselage. If you don't clean those bits off, apart from it looking funny, the wings won't slide into the fuselage. Right. So let's stick some glue on those and get those fitted. Lovely shape, the Harrier. I do like the Harrier. It's the first ever 1/48 scale model I ever built. A long time ago was the Sea Harrier, and I've loved it ever since. Well, that looked, I'm so sure I made that look a lot more confusing than it was. So there we are, that's one wing. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, push that notification bell, then you can see more of me sticking the wrong bits together. Right, so that's all the wings put together. Stick them onto the fuselage now, so the aircraft can start to take shape now. Now the instructions do call for you to put the thrust vector things in the side before you put the wings on. I had a quick test, I can get them on with the wings, but I'm going to paint those a different colour to the rest of it, so I've left them off. So I shall put the wings on, put the front all together, put the weapon stanchions on, and then we'll paint the whole thing, and then I'll paint the jets, and then I'll stick them on. Otherwise it's just a lot of masking that I don't really want to get into. This is why I like this extra thin glue. So you can put stuff together and then you can just run it down the little gap, and because it's so thin it just flows into the gap and helps you stick it together. Let's give these a bit of a glue and we'll stick the tail planes on. A little bit awkward, but eventually, yeah, a bit of fiddling and click, and they go. Hold them for a few seconds and we almost have a Harrier. Looking nice. Put a bit of extra glue here, a little bit of extra glue there. Okay, so I've stuck the engine in, stuck the nose cone on that had the cockpit in it. Now I'm just going to paint the little bits on, I don't know, the cockpit front, the bits that are underneath the canopy, as you can see. Because what I'll do is I will mask the canopy up, glue the canopy on, because then I don't have to mask up the cockpit. So what we'll do now is we'll paint the top half of the cockpit and the back half of the cockpit. Then I'll paint the gun sight and we'll put that in. Right, so that's the cockpit done. We'll put that to one side. Now the gun sight, I'm going to be using some Tamiya clear green. Can't remember what the number is, you see it in most shots. But this is basically transparent. So if you paint it onto clear parts, it changes the colour, but doesn't change the fact you can see through it. And this looks great for gun sights, especially on jets, because they seem to have quite a big gun sight and it's usually covering in the windscreen. So when you look through the windscreen, you can see the green gun sight, regardless of what scale it is. So that's the, see what I mean? Shall I see through green? Right, now this is super handy. I forgot I had this. Bulldog models. Look them out, look them up on the internet, look them up on Instagram. Sell some brilliant product, absolutely brilliant products. This is a plane holder. Completely forgot I had it, so I can get rid of my 2 tins of paint. Right, so next thing, masking tape, the Tamiya masking tape, and we're going to mask up the cockpit glass. I can't remember what you call it. I'll do a little video on a separate video on masking, because I don't like doing it, but I'll show you how I do it. So it's I'll put the masking tape on, I'll get myself a toothpick and I run that round the edge of the cockpit, and it'll gives you a little indent for you to follow around with your craft knife, so you can cut exactly the right amount off, and it leaves you the masking tape to stop you from painting over the glass. Canopy, that's what I was looking for. What I was thinking of doing is actually using some Maskell and then try and actually use it to paint round the explosive charges that are in the canopy, but the actual lines that are in the canopy aren't pronounced enough, so we'll just leave those as is. So we'll just cut off all the excess. So I usually use the masking tape to go along the longest straight line and then cut the rest of it off. Haven't decided whether to have it open or shut yet. I quite like it open, but on the other hand, oh yes, because I think actually I'll have it open, because within the kit, I don't think I showed you, you actually get ladders to go on the side. So I shall find myself a little concrete base to have it sat on. Might even see if I can find myself a little 172 Pilot to walk up to it, make it into a little bit of a diorama. Need to find a deck, don't I, from an aircraft carrier, to actually sort of part of a deck for an aircraft carrier to get it to sit on. That's that. So that's that masked, so you can see that there, and I've also masked the front half. Now I'm going to use Rebel's Contact to Clear, because it's what I've been using recently. It's alright. I don't know if there are other makes of it, I'll have to look around. It's not too bad. It takes a long time to go off though. So I'll cut out the gun sight. Tiny little green see-through gun sight. Trim up the edge. And what I'll do is I'll use the Contact to Clear on the front of the cockpit to slide that into place. So thanks for watching, everyone, watching me build this Sea Harrier. Come back next time to watch me paint it with the Hagegawas paints. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Hope you're all well. And I look forward to having your company next time. Here we go, see that gun sight? Lovely. So thanks everybody for watching, and I think I'll leave the video there. Come back for some paint.